McCulloch Building Mover from Whitby. I've been doing this for 40 years. What we're doing here is putting the equipment in. We're putting a steel frame. We've opened all the holes, allowed the steel to go through. There's two main beams go the length of the building, and then there's cross beams at approximately every 4 feet down the length coming crossways. The beams crossways are 40 feet long. The beam you see behind me with my name on is a hardback beam. It connects. The cross-loader beams go through on top of the mains, and then this just stiffens the outer ends of them. There's one goes down each side, and there's a heavier beam goes across the front. This creates a steel framework of cradle, and once we have the cradle in place, we shim and we grout and pack all the holes up to the underside of the building, and once we've packed to the underside of the building, we have everything packed tight. Then we go in underneath. We have crib piles already built down inside, and we put jacks in the crib piles, and we raise the building free of all the foundation that's left. In between the cross loaders, there's still foundation, original foundation carrying this building. Once we have it up and we've freed the walls, we break those stub walls off. And we haven't decided yet, but we feel we're going to roll the building sideways away from the existing foundation. Once we've got it sideways, we will bring down our dolly wheels. We use fully oscillating hydraulic steering dollies, which have caster steering, and they also have a hydraulic steering. But we bring those in, and we create what we call 3 zones under this building. Whether it be the truck, we use it the front to pull it, or we just use the dollies, and we take a group of dollies at this front end and we create those and hook them all up hydraulically so that they all work within each other. And then there will be another group on each main at the back. So that creates a front end zone and 2 zones at the back. The 3-zone system is the approved zone, the approved method, and has been for over 400 years of moving buildings. You move them on 3 points, and when the heavier buildings go, you float them on hydraulic oil, and you float them in zones. Once you have your zones established, then your building always maintains its own integrity because the oil flows in through the zones. So in other words, if you go over a hump that's 6 inches high, that dolly zone will shorten up. The other side that oil will flow to the other side or the other part of the zone, and it'll compensate for that hump as you're going over the hump. Obviously, you don't want to have too many humps in the road because your dollies will travel 16 inches of stroke in the jack that's in the center. Your mean difference is at 8, so you can't go down any more than 8 or you'll bottom out, or you can't go up any more than 8, and if you go up over 8, then you'll pop your jack, you'll pop your seals. So you have to maintain within that 16-inch level. If you're not able to maintain, then you have to build some timber or a little bit of a timber road to get over that obstacle. Now the object of this is to get it out there where it's going, and then we'll back it down the hill. And we'll back it down and we'll swing the front end over. It will sit at approximately I would say 110 degrees from where it sits now. It'll go 90 plus a little bit, and once it's in position, you'll drive the truck right down through the foundation, and it will pull it, and the dollies will follow it down. When you go to going down through the foundation, the truck becomes the 1 zone. You don't have to have as many, you'll move your dollies back. So when you go through the foundation, this first section right here is too narrow, so the dollies have to be back behind that because these beams are set to just go between the foundation walls. They've got a foot in each side. The truck will be in the middle so it can drive down. When you're in position over top of the foundation wall, then you replace your dollies with the same crib piles, because the dolly, where we have the crib piles now, is where each dolly goes on the beam. So when we get down there, we just remove the dollies and we replace them with crib piles, and we set it up at its exact level, and they will have part of the foundation wall poured. Then from that point to the underside of the building, they will build concrete block piers. They will be doweled and anchored and filled, and the wall will be 24 inches wide, and they'll bring it up and they'll build these little piers in between our cross loaders, the same as what we have now. There'll be a little pointed pier as part of the foundation. Once everything is secure, you leave 1 inch on the top to grout it with non-shrink grout. Once you've grouted it, you let it set. Then you just lower the framework slightly. You put supports for anything that you have in the center. You put temporary supports in. Then you can lower your steel, pull your steel, and once your steel's pulled, any intermediate beams that have to go into the center are they're put in at that time, and the permanent supports are put in the center of the building, and then the holes that you've left where your beams came out, they are filled with blocks, the same system that you filled your wall. The building is done, and away you go. It's finished.